All right, guys, I'm finally back after a week and a half in China. And I finally had time to settle down and collect my thoughts a little bit. And I wanted to sit down and talk to you about this. It's not something to do with cars, but it has a lot to do with the content that I upload here and also in other platforms as well. And it's something about freedom of speech. It needs no elaboration that we all know that China has very tight control over the freedom of speech and media. You have the Great Firewall and whatnot, a lot of apps doesn't work in China. But truth be told, China has relaxed a lot of this control significantly. So for example, as long as I am a foreign registered number and I am on roaming services, I can access my WhatsApp and all the apps that I have, like my Facebook, my YouTube, all of these things that are by de facto are not allowed to operate in China. It's open to me to use. In fact, I can do everything I wanted. But the problem is, I don't know whether this is a service provider problem or it's a China control situation. But I bought my roaming for a whole month, basically. But I am only allowed fast internet speed for up to 2 gig in a day. Now, usually this is roughly enough. So if I'm not doing anything heavy, I'm, WhatsApp and scrolling TikTok and, usual stuff, playing Facebook, I would say 2 gig is enough, actually, or just enough for a day. But you see, I upload content, right? So 2 gig goes out pretty fast. It creates a lot of hassle for me. Because, you see, I upload my content in TikTok, in YouTube, in Xiaohongshu, and in Douyin. There are four platforms here. And out of these 4 platforms, 2 of them require roaming to do when I was in China. YouTube and also TikTok, because these are, by default, not allowed to operate in China. So technically, I have 2, 3 videos at most of allowance before I run out of fast internet speed while roaming. So not only does it restrict the amount of videos I can upload on TikTok, I completely did not bother to upload on YouTube at all. While I have access to Wi-Fi when I'm back at the hotel, the problem is when I'm connected to Wi-Fi, then Facebook doesn't work, TikTok doesn't work, YouTube doesn't work. I can upload on Xiaohongshu and also Douyin. So for those of you who are following me on Xiaohongshu, you notice that I do upload when I was in China, but generally it's about 10 hours, 8 hours, or maybe 12 hours later than I do on TikTok, because I usually upload only when I'm back in the hotel. So there is a lot of hassle in terms of freedom of speech. And does it hamper creativity and the creation of content? Of course it does. There is no denying that, okay? Let's not pretend that it doesn't. But the control is not just on the firewall and data itself, but also on certain keywords that you use. This I noticed particularly strong in those apps that are allowed in China. So for example, Xiaohongshu and Douyin. Certain words that you say. So for example, if you mention the name of the president of the People's Republic of China, and being a foreign account, right, automatically your video will be flagged. Now, they don't ban it straight away. They put it under review. Sometimes they say it's under review. Sometimes they are flagging even though they are not saying that it's under review. Now, if you don't see it under review, sometimes they'll release it after a few days after they check that, okay, you're not saying something that they are not agreeable to. They will release the video, but they will not push it. So technically speaking, you can see those videos, but the platforms will not push this video. So your view counts are very, very small. My friend tells me that this video can be found in my profile, but of course, naturally from my side, I see an unreasonable small amount of viewership because they're not pushed. They're automatically not pushed, but they're not censored per se. So you get a lot of this restriction on freedom of speech. And I can imagine it definitely does hamper the process of creativity. Now imagine you put a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time into making a video, especially if you're a content creator, if you're doing it full time specifically. I'm not. This doesn't pay, right? So I am not attached to my video. Well, if it's not pushing, it's not pushing. It's not doing well, it's not doing well, whatever, man. It doesn't affect me. I'm not attached to these videos' performance because I'm not relying on them. But if I am, this is very discouraging because then, I put so much effort. I put 2 days worth of work, computer graphics, stitching things together, editing music, editing video, doing subtitles, all of these things. And then the view count is like 2. The 2% chances are is a censorship board guy. So for example, my video on Hongqi Guoli, which is the official car of the president of the People's Republic of China, that video is not censored, but it does not move at all. I think the view count only comes from either the censorship board people or people who has gone through my profile and maybe they are interested in a particular video and they click on it. So the view count is very, very small. I realized this all because of certain words being mentioned. I'm not saying anything controversial at all, in fact, but yet those videos get flagged. So this is a real block on creativity. So I don't deny that this restriction on the freedom of speech can be a little bit heavy-handed, I would say. But then again, I come back to Malaysia and I started uploading. I'm blasting on YouTube basically because I couldn't upload there and I didn't bother also. So all the videos, the 30, 40 videos that's gone up when I was in China, suddenly now they're all going up in YouTube. And I realized that in Western, so-called our Western model of freedom of speech itself, and I'm not talking about Malaysia, this is US standard I'm talking. I'm experiencing a similar oppression, a similar censorship. In fact, I would say YouTube outright bans my video. At least in China, those videos are not banned. They are just not pushed. You are quietly being silenced. They're not shutting the door on you. But in YouTube, as I'm uploading, just today itself, I'm uploading like 20 videos this morning, and I realized that a number of them has been completely blocked, straight up blocked. And the reason you'll be surprised, one of those videos is the one I was talking about, Song San, SS Dolphin. All I'm doing is that I copy another video. I'm saying, oh, there is this creator on TikTok. She has this account. This is her content. I just overlay her video for a few seconds over mine to illustrate what I'm talking about. Straight away, pop, copyright. The whole video was blocked. Similarly, there was another video I was talking about the Maxstro S800. And I was sitting in a car. This is basically ambient music. Because I was sitting in the car, somebody was playing with the volume or the music or the radio or whatever they're doing. And there was music playing in the background. And this music, I think, is a pop music. And straight away, the whole video was flagged and blocked. Like I said, I'm not attached to the performance of this video. I don't really care if they do. Of course, I want my video to do well. I'm not going to lie. But if they don't perform or they get blocked, you know what? I couldn't be bothered to fix it. So fundamentally, it's two sides of the same coin. One controls you on behalf of the state, the other one controls you on behalf of those who control the financial system. I think the takeaway is this: there are control everywhere. I think the honeymoon period of liberalism where, minimal government, smallest government possible, government should step in only in extreme circumstances, those kind of fantasy period is over. It's big government everywhere. The only difference between the system is fundamentally who is pulling the strings behind the corridor of power, really. And sometimes I get really tired listening to people falling into the propaganda trap of ideological better. Oh, I have democracy, I'm better. Oh, socialism is better. You know what? Ultimately, all of this doesn't matter. Control is everywhere. Hypocrisy is everywhere. Ultimately, I think we need to move away from all these ideological deadlocks of capitalism versus socialism, democracy versus autocracy, East versus West. All of this is just virtue signaling. It doesn't mean anything. Ultimately, I think we need to start paying attention to things that matter more. As Zizek often say, all I want, I don't care what system I live in. I don't care whether I get to vote or I don't get to vote. I don't care whether it's communism or capitalism. All I want to do is I want to be able to put food on the table. I want to have shelter over my head. I want to be able to chase my dream and do what I want to do. I think that fundamentally underlies what it means to be a human being, I think, in the 21st century. The rest of it is just virtue signaling and propaganda, to be honest.